So let's get this party started. Let's get going. All right. Welcome to the first day of spring. First official day. Spring actually really started, 11:06 or something last night? But we'll count today as the first official day of spring. Not so springy outside. Like I said one other week, I think that groundhog, he got a little wrong. I think it's snowing in Michigan tomorrow. So, but we got a nice week last week, so that's what counts. All right, you know the drill. Nice, easy gear to get us started. Small ring in the front. Small, easiest gear on the back. Got your water bottle, your fan, and your towel. You're ready for a good workout. So as the title indicates, we are going to sprint into spring today. So I got a little inspired to try to get a little cheeky with the title. And that's going to lend itself into the workout itself. So you may have figured it out. It really literally is all about sprinting today. But they're going to be manageable time frames. We are going to do a total of 3 10-minute segments. And Susan, if you're not muted, if you could mute yourself, there you go. Great, thank you. We're going to do 3 10-minute segments that are short, really short efforts. The first 10 are going to be 5 seconds in length. Then you'll get a nice recovery. Then you're going to do 10 seconds, 10 of those, nice recovery. And then you're going to do 15 seconds, 10 of those, with a nice recovery. And then we'll be done. So it'll go super fast, as these kind of workouts always do. But the best part about it is, for each one of these, you're going to get a significant amount of rest in between. But for the 5-second effort, you'll get 55 seconds. For the 10-second effort, you'll get 50 seconds. For the 15-second effort, you'll get 45 seconds. So it's pretty easy to figure that part out. We'll do some of them out of the saddle, some of them in. Going to keep mixing it up. And the gearing I'm going to give you will help you get through whatever we're doing at the time. So don't fear it, because these always, for me, make my legs feel great, because they kind of jumpstart but give you adequate rest. Get the legs kind of opening up and feeling a little fresher. And sometimes if you feel your legs feeling a little dead, say you've been doing a lot of just riding without any efforts, if you put this kind of workout into your routine, maybe once a week, or when you're really feeling like your legs don't feel so fresh, add this in and you'll be surprised, because it really does. It really helps to bring the legs kind of back to life. This is the kind of, maybe not to this extent, but if somebody was doing a race, I would do a similar workout to this the day before. Maybe not to the degree that we're doing it in the terms of the numbers or the long or the hour workout, but it would be very similar. So keep that in mind. If you have an event, most people think, oh, I got to rest for days before. Not so much. Maybe 2 days before. The day before, you need to do something to get the legs sparked and ready to go. All right, so to get us sparked and ready to go, we are going to do just a 5-minute effort. We're going to do 1 minute standing, 1 minute seated. I want you to get up into your big ring. Go ahead and get down somewhere around your 15. So that'll put you with about 3 gears below. And we're going to stand up for a minute. Here we go. 3, 2, stand it up. Just start getting the legs working. You don't have to go super hard yet. Just enough. Of course, as you're forcing the legs to work, as you stand, they're having to hold up the entire weight of your body. So that makes them work a little harder. That's why your heart rate might start jumping up a little bit. That's okay. That's what we wanted to do. Waking up the body. Getting ready to sprint into spring. 3, 2, sitting down. Stay in that gear. Just kind of grind this out. The legs might feel a little rough. That's why we do this. Just to kind of smooth out the edges a little bit. Plus get you ready for the workout to come. Stick with it. Nice solid cadence. Whatever will work for you. If you're at 60, that's fine. If you're at 50, that's okay. Stand them back up. Just up and down. 1 minute standing, 1 minute seated. Now you might be able to feel yourself bringing your cadence up just a bit. Legs are getting smoother. Pedal stroke, nice and consistent. Feel your hips right over those ankles. Try not to be too far forward. Use that core. 3, 2, sitting down. 2 more minutes to go. 1 seated, 1 standing. Randy told me today that he bought us an early birthday present. I'm like, what? Our birthdays aren't till September. Well, we've really been enjoying watching the women's NCAA basketball. So he got us the right channel so we can watch the games. It'll be fun. Lots of good women's basketball right now. Coming up to the last one standing. 3, 2, 1. Last man standing? I think that's a TV show. Now your legs should feel a little different now than they did when you started. hopefully that initial burning sensation is kind of settled in. That's what we want to do. As you've heard me say before, you're kind of buffering that lactic acid, flushing it, bringing it to the surface, and then flushing it out. 3, 2, sitting back down. Small ring, easy gear. Take a drink. Now, the hardest part about these 10-minute sets is that you want to make sure you're getting something to drink along the way. So pick those times in between the sprint efforts to make that happen. I don't want you going the whole 10 minutes without taking a sip of water or a few. So think about when you're going to make that happen. And it's good practice for when you're outside and you're having to take a drink. And also when you're going outside, think about when you are taking a drink. So if I'm in a pace line and I'm in the front, I'm not going to take a drink there because I have all these people behind me. If something were to happen, say I drop the bottle, I swerve a little because I might be holding on with one hand, I don't want to put all the other people in jeopardy. So I wait until I come off the front and move to the back, and then I can take a drink. Or if you know the course and you're on a nice flat section and you know you're coming up to a climb, take a drink before you hit that climb. So it's all about predetermining where you're going to take that drink. Now, what a lot of you can do on your Garmin devices, Wahoos, whatever you're using, you can actually put a reminder notice that'll jump up on your screen and say, take a drink, whatever you want it to say. And you can tell it to do it however frequently you want, every 15 minutes, every 10 minutes, whatever works. But think about it, probably every 10 minutes is good. At least you're taking a sip. All right, so let's get into this first set. 10 by 5 seconds. I want you to do all of these seated, unless I say otherwise. We're going to be in our small ring for these, and I want you to go to your 14. So where's your 14? If you went all the way to the bottom of your cassette, that's probably going to be your 11 or your 12. You're going to shift from there, probably 2 gears easier, maybe 3, depending on what cassette you have. If you have an 11 at the bottom, 11, 12, 13, 14, that might be 3 gears. So go ahead, stay in your small ring. Get down to that right gear. This isn't going to be a super hard gear. You can stay in your hoods or your drops. It's just 5 seconds. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Slow it down. Shift to an easier gear, but I want you keeping your cadence at 90 plus. So that's how it's going to go. 5 seconds. Nice and quick. Super solid. Nice high cadence in between. Now remember, we're doing 10 of these. So yeah, these first couple feel pretty easy. But that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create the tolerance level. How much can your body tolerate? And can you push it just a little further than it wants to go? All right, back down to that gear that you were just in your drops or where you want to be. Let's go. Seated. And back up to that easy gear. Keep the legs spinning. Now you don't have to go to your easiest gear. You might be spinning out too much there. So those of you that have power or even speed, you can use that as your metric for these 5-second efforts. Try to reach the same number each time. Heart rate's a little hard because your heart rate drifts, which means that you'll do 5, but it won't get to its max until maybe 5 after. So that's why the other metrics are better. Find the gear you want. 3, 2, let's go. And easy. Start paying attention to those metrics so you can keep these consistently the same. That's what we're looking for. You're going to make some beautiful trainer art tonight. That's what I love about this kind of workout. They have these nice solid blocks. If you're doing them right, each one looks exactly the same. You create this perfect block of 10-minute time. Use the recovery as recovery, but as you can tell, I'm keeping the cadence high. Find that gear. And let's go. And easy. You may have heard me say in the past, sometimes to sprint your best, you don't have to be in the hardest gear. Leg speed really matters. And I've used the analogy of a track racer with a fixed gear, which means that the chain is attached to the back cog, and that hub of the back cog, you cannot coast. You can't stop your feet. So to go faster, they have to pedal harder. Find that gear. And let's go. And stop. Or keep pedaling, not stop completely. So this is the same theory. If your cadence is high, your gearing is adequate, then you're going to go faster. People say, oh, well, if I'm in my big ring at a 60 cadence, I can go faster. Yeah, you might go a little bit faster, but by the time you get to the chance to run in a triathlon or do something else, come to a climb, find your gear, and go. And back up to that easier gear. Those heavy gears just waste your legs. I could probably be in an easier gear with somebody in their big ring. Have to find the equivalent gearing. And I could probably go at a 90 cadence and then being at a 60. We could do the same course, and I will bet you that I will make it to the end stronger. than that person just because they're wasting their legs. We're halfway. Find that gear. And go. And easy. Now, those of you that have power, you may start noticing, as I'm noticing, I'm hitting higher wattages. The legs are starting to come alive. The first couple, not so great. Now starting to move into a higher power range. That's what you want. That's why we do these. So the body gets stronger with each move. Time to turn on fan number 2. All right, starting to get ready. Find that gear. And here we go. Back to easy, or high cadence, I should say. We're going to work in some big ring efforts as we go through this. The next set, we'll do some of them seated and some of them standing, just to keep you honest. Looks like you only have 2 more to go. Find your gear. Decide where you want to be. And let's go. Back to easy. So for the last one, I want you to really engage your core. When you start that first pedal stroke, feel your abs kind of almost like you're crunching them, you're pulling them, you're making them tighter. But relax the legs. That's the hard part, is to use the core, but relax the legs enough that they can spin at that perfect spin. 1 left. Find your gear. Last one for this set. Best one. Let's do it. And go. Back to that easy. Not totally easy yet. Keep that cadence high. I didn't remind anybody to take a drink. I didn't take a drink. That's not a good thing. So I'm sure you didn't. We'll get better at that for the next set. Legs are light. Cadence is high. Gearing is adequate. All right, set number 1. We can cross that off. It has been completed. Go to 1 easier gear if you have it. Nice, easy. Take a drink. Towel off. You're going to get a nice 3 minutes. So here's how the next set's going to go. Again, it's 10, but this time by 10 seconds. The way we're going to work this one is we're going to work in 2 gears. Your big ring and your 17. So that's going to be probably 2 or 3 gears easier than where you just were, but in your big ring. For that one, that gear, we're going to stay seated. Then when you go to the standing portion, we're going to go big ring 14. In between though, here's the hard part. We're going to keep it in our big ring and get in an easy gear to spin. So you're going to have a little bit more gear to manage in between. We're going to go back and forth, seated to standing, seated to standing. So you're just going to make some gearing changes so that when you stand, you're actually going to have a little bit more resistance under your feet, which will help you through that standing portion. So when you stand, I would prefer that you be in your drops, but if you want to do a few in your hoods, that's fine too. You might kind of stand and sprint maybe to the top of a climb. So that position is a good position to get used to. But if you're really trying to, like, you know, close the gap between you and somebody in front of you, or you're challenging yourself when you're out by yourself and saying, I'm going to sprint to that telephone pole or that town sign or that parked car or the corner, whatever it might be, you can always use your surroundings to get you to be able to get in little sprints like this. All right, so go ahead and get to your big ring. The first one, we're going to do standing. So I want you to go down to your 14. And again, that's the same gear that you were just in for the previous efforts. 10 seconds standing. You can go in your drops or in your hoods. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Push it. Push it standing. Let's go. Ooh, 10 seconds feels so much longer. Go all the way up to the top of your cassette. Just spin the legs at whatever cadence you can manage. So when we go to the next effort, it's going to be seated. From this gear, I want you shifting 4 harder gears, but I'll tell you when to shift. Staying seated, 10 seconds. Working the legs on the in-between for this. All right, 4 harder gears. 3, 2, let's go. 10 seconds. Stay relaxed. Back up to the top. Woo! That's tough. 10's a little bit harder. Next one's going to be standing. You're going to go down to that 14. Don't have to go there yet. I'm going to be in my hoods this time, just to mix it up. Find that gear. You're looking for the 14. 3, 2, 1. Standing. Let's go. 2, 1. Sitting back down. Shifting to that easiest gear. Allow yourself to recover. Take a drink. Next one is seated. You can stay in your hoods if you wish, or down in your drops. Four harder gears. 3, 2, let's go. Keep the upper body relaxed. And back to easy. Next one standing. Have to keep saying it so I don't forget which one we're doing. So last time we did the standing in our hoods. This time be in your drops. And when the curvature of your bars, you want your hands to be just underneath where your brake levers are. Not on the bottom. Your hands should be forward so your wrist is straight. Find your gear. That 14, 3, 2, let's go. 3, 2, nice and easy. Time for a standing effort. After this easy, we're halfway. You're going to be in your drops. Standing in the drops means your body's just a little further forward. Finding that gear, the 14, down in your drops, and let's go. 2, 1. Back to that easy gear, take a drink. All right, 4 more to go. Past the halfway point. Next one is seated. Hopefully you've been paying attention to some metrics. Seated in the hoods. Find that gear. 4 gears down. 3, 2, let's go. And back to the top. Good job. Standing in the hoods coming up. Starting to sweat. The blood is flowing now. Hopefully you're seeing your heart rate being a little managed in between. Those tough efforts. Back down to that 14. Standing in your hoods. And let's go. Sitting back down. Back up to the top of the cassette. Turn your fan to you if you need it. Starting to get hot. Next one is seated. in your drops. Only 2 to go. Take a drink. Hopefully you hydrated well before. Find that gear. Down those drops. And let's go seated. Hang in there. Up to that easy gear. Just one last one. Woo! Feeling the effects. Intervals like this are so effective. You've done a lot of work over the winter. This is going to show you what you have in the tank. All right, find that gear. Last time at 14. Standing. And let's go. Come on. Sitting back down. Up to the top. Stay in your big ring though. Got to finish out the minute. Woo! Nice work. I think you're going to like the last 10 minutes. Remember, before you shift to your small ring, shift down a few harder gears. Get that chain in line so you don't drop it from the big to the small. Go ahead and shift. Back up to the easiest gear. Spin it out. Take a drink. Woo! Good one. I like crossing these off. That feeling of satisfaction that you finished it. All right, we're going to get a nice 3 minutes of just letting the body recover. So for the last one, we're going to do a lot of shifting around because I want you to really feel the difference between big ring, small ring. So all the gears that we've used so far, small ring 14, big ring 14, big ring around 17, we're going to use those for the next 10 minutes segment. This time though, it's 15 seconds. So a little bit longer than that last one. We're going to stay in the same gear for each one. So if I put you in your 14 small ring, you're going to stay in that for the 15 seconds. So no shifting around during the effort. We're just going to shift around for each one. Some seated, some standing, and depending on what gear you're in will depend on what kind of rest you get. So you're only going to get 45 seconds rest, but sometimes you might be staying in your small ring for that rest, other times in your big ring for that rest. So it's going to jump around as it goes. You have 1 more minute. If you need another drink, take it. We'll take some drinks along that 10-minute segment. So you'll have that. You should be, I'm a little more than half of my bottle consumed at this point. You should be about there because you only have about 15 more minutes left of the workout. So keep in mind, these are 15 seconds. We got 30 more seconds till we start. The first one we're going to do in the small ring, 14, seated in your drops. And again, it's a 15-second effort. So as always, don't try to bust out of the gate for the first 5 minutes or 5 seconds. You need to build this. So go ahead, find your gear. Down in your drops. Let's go 15 seconds. 3, 2, 1, let's go. I'll give you 5. 5 done. 10 done. 15. Shift it up, not all the way to the top, but 1 down from the top. Nice and easy. Try to keep that cadence around 90. Next one, we're going to do big ring, 14 standing. You don't have to go there yet. I don't know if you guys can hear my bike creaking. Big ring, down to your 14, and up. Let's go. 5 in. 10 in. Sitting back down. All the way to the top. Leave it in the big ring. Might need to trim your front derailleur. Next one, as you can probably guess, 4 gears harder. In your drops. 15 seconds. All right, find your gearing. 2, 3, 4 in your drops. Let's go. 5 down. 10 down. 15. Back up to the top. Easiest gear, big ring. You're seeing the pattern. That's how it's going to go. So the next one's going to be small ring, 14. Don't go there yet. Go all the way down to your 14, and then shift to your small ring. So you're already there. In the drops, let's go. 5, 10, 15, easiest gear. 1 down from the easy. Enjoy the spin. So I want you to start thinking about now, which one of these is challenging you the most? Small ring, 15 or 14? Big ring, 14? Or the big ring, 17? Just keep it in the back of your mind. Find your big ring, down to your 7, down to your 14. Standing, let's go. 5 down. 10 down. And seated. All the way to the top. Big ring easy gear. Coming up to halfway. Good work, everybody. I know this isn't easy, but it's worth it. Next one. Big ring. 4 gears down. Go ahead and find it. In your drops. Let's go. 5, 10, 15. Back to the top. Woo! Legs are starting to get weary. I know it. But I know you can make it. Only 4 more efforts. That's only 1 more minute worth of time. You've done longer efforts than that in other workouts. We're coming up on 14. Down to your 14. Down to your small ring. In your drops. Let's go. 5, 10, 15. Up to the easy. Spin it. Take a drink. Fast and furious now. Woo! Next one. It's going to be your 14. Big ring. Standing. Go ahead and find the gear. Get in your big ring. 3, 2, let's go. Stand it up. 5 down. 10. 15. All the way to the top. Leaving it in the big ring. Only 2 to go. The next one is seated. 4 gears harder. Either in your hoods or your drops, you choose. Keep the watts coming. 4 gears harder. Here you go. Let's go seated. 5 down. 10 down. 15 down. All right. All the way to easy. Staying in the big ring. So remember I asked, which one of these was the hardest for you? We got 1 more to do. Pick that one. The one that challenged you the most. Don't cheat yourself now. This is when you want to bring out your best, but force yourself, because this is when it counts. Here at the end, I'm going to go to 14, out of the saddle, and let's go. 5, 10, 15, up to the pop. Stay in whatever gear In the front, you're in. Allow yourself to finish the minute. You might want to check your metrics if you got them on a different screen. Three, two. If you're in your big ring, near the top, give it a couple of shifts easier. I'm sorry, harder before you shift to that small ring. All right. Small ring, easy skier. Take a drink. We're going to start the cool down process. Woo, yeah. Checked off all three. 30 minutes of solid work. Nice job, everybody. Take a drink. During this cool down, make sure you are finishing that water bottle. So right now, we're just going to have you spin the legs in the easiest gear you have, just to get some life back. Allow your heart rate to come down. You might find yourself actually sweating a little bit more at the beginning of this, but hopefully by the time we get to the end of the cool down, that sweating process will start to slow. Sometimes our bodies react a little delayed, creating a lot of heat, asking a lot of your organs and your heart, your lungs. The blood's moving way faster than it moved all day long. I actually got to see, I don't know if you've seen those little, almost looks like a little credit card. You put your fingers on it, and it takes an EKG, and it shows you if you have any arrhythmia issues or anything with the beat of your heart. It was kind of cool to see this little tiny thing that looks like a credit card give you so much information about your heart. So that's such a great piece of equipment for field work, for healthcare professionals, for the military, for all kinds of people that could really use that. Instead of having to lug around these giant machines. All right, just a few, 30 more seconds here, and then we're going to start to really cool it down even more. A few pedal strokes where I'm going to have you do a little bit of thinking. It's going to be some meditation as part of your process of cooling down. So I want you to give me 3, 4 harder gears. I want you to keep the cadence at whatever feels comfortable. And I want you to really concentrate on just feeling your right leg pedaling. Does it feel like a perfect circle? Are you keeping your foot nice and flat? Are you feeling the power from your thigh? And are you using your hip flexor to move that leg around? Just thinking about that right leg. Let the left leg just kind of follow along. It doesn't have a choice. You're kind of pulling it around. Now, if you're feeling a perfect circle, that's great. Because we're going to ultimately switch to your left leg. And I want you to feel that same perfect circle when we do that. Sometimes we pedal with one leg over the other. So now switch your focus to that left leg. Does it feel weird? Does it feel odd? Most of the time, if you're right-handed, Sandy's shaking her head. If you're right-handed, That means you're right-footed. So your dominant leg is the right leg, which can take over. So get that left leg to start feeling its own identity, and let it feel that perfect circle. The right leg, literally, as Randy says, I say literally a lot. Get that right leg out of the mix. This is all about the left leg right now. All right, shift yourself to easier gears. Get your cadence somewhere around 85, 90. And I want you to feel both legs feeling light. Here's something to do as a trick for yourself. If you know for sure that one leg is dominant over the other, always focus on the weaker leg, and then it will balance out for sure. So if you know that right leg is taking over, start thinking about pedaling with your left leg. You'll start to feel your right-left balance, as they call it. And you may have that data if you have a power meter or anything that gives you that right-left balance. All right, just a few more seconds and we will be done for the night. Because you have sprinted into spring tonight. Woohoo! All right. Just a reminder, next week is our last session for the season. I know, it's always a sad day. But it's time to get outside. All right. Great job, everybody. Woo. We're all going to sleep good tonight.